or as I say, sometimes they just show up in person.
Oh, my goodness.
State Representative Danny McCormick is here. Haven't seen you in a while. Welcome back. Good to see you.
Thank you very much.
Big Monday. Looking forward to the swearing-in ceremony.
Yes, sir. Very much so.
How much, just on the 1 to 10 scale, with of having to study and prep, and how much reading have you done as you get ready for the next session, which begins right away?
Well, actually, I can say, honestly, I've been studying and prepping for the last 20 years.
Nice. Good answer. Fist bump. Fist bump. Okay, now, Representative Danny is here because of, God, we're going to kind of count on you to make the very complex simple for everybody. Yesterday, Caddo Commission meeting, a zillion people, the vast majority of them less than pleased with what is known as the
UDC,
the Unified
Development
Code,
Mm-hmm.
and the rules that it sets, not necessarily for folks in the city limits, but for that sort of 5-mile zone from the edge of Shreveport 5 miles out. What is that beef about? If you could sort of break it down to about a minute or 90 seconds, simplify what the problem is.
It's a loss of their private property rights. It's a loss of their liberty. I mean, that to break it down simple, that is it. The UDC come out of the 2030 master plan. And
now, this is something that was put together by the Metropolitan Planning Commission.
I think you take it a little bit further. You could say Director Sweeney is gone, but his legacy is the 2030 master plan, and a lot of us didn't approve of how he was running things. Sweeney got an organization out of Boston to put it together.
You keep patting this great big
foot-tall pile of paper.
Yeah, what is that? And
it's the 2030 master plan, but we call it the beast.
It's literally a foot tall.
That's correct.
Has anyone actually read this whole thing?
Oh, I would say it's humanly impossible.
Let me clarify
impossible.
Aaron's question. Is your concern that neither the Shreveport City Council or as it affects you and the folks who are sort of in the wagon with you, is it your concern that a lot of the Caddo commissioners haven't read that?
I would be shocked if any have read it. It's a 2,000-page document. The UDC, which comes out of the 2030 master plan, is well over 300 pages. And I don't know anybody who's read it.
But wait a minute. The UDC's been in place for a couple of years. They adopted it in 2017. What's the furor about now? Is it that people are being cited now?
That's correct. They went out into the rural area, the 5-mile boundary, and started ticketing people for, if you had a four-wheeler in your yard or a boat or an RV, they could see from the road that was against the code, and they went to ticketing people for that. That's what got people activated. And when they got to digging in it, they seen the depths of the problem. That's just the tip of the iceberg.
Why did they go to the 5-mile buffer? What was the reason for that?
It's my understanding that 5-mile buffer is put in place years ago. So when Shreveport grew, that the part they annexed in would already be under code. And now it's our opinion that Shreveport can't take care of the infrastructure it has now. It shouldn't be growing anymore, so that 5-mile buffer is not needed.
Mr. Danny, you said a second ago people didn't realize the depth of the problem. What's the depth of the problem?
The depth of the problem is when Sweeney had that organization out of Boston.
Yeah, excuse me just a second. I don't want you to lose your train of thought, but I saw a couple of people refer to what you said, these people from Boston. Is it your sense, I know it is the sense of a lot of people that are, like I said, in the wagon with you, that this whole thing was put together by, to use what I think I saw on Facebook, a bunch of liberals, a bunch of leftists?
Radical environmentalists would probably be a good word to.
Wow.
Seriously?
Yes.
Wow.
Do you want to know where the Cross Bayou project come from? 2030 master plan. It's mentioned. We found that word in there over 83 times so far. So it's social engineering our area to something that is more equivalent to what radical environmentalists in Boston think that our area should be.
Did they? My problem is when you have the UDC in place, did the MPC not let people know, hey, this is going to impact you too? Were they not put on notice, the residents that lived in those areas?
I haven't met any residents that knew that they were going to be under the new UDC plan.
Let me try this one. You said that you would be surprised if any of the Caddo commissioners had read that.
Yes, sir.
But they voted for it.
That's
then
correct.
Who came in and sold them on it And, well, go ahead.
I would assume the MPC. I mean, I would assume they appoint the MPC, as you know, is an appointed board, which is aggravating to people. And
Well, let's go back to and I'll use Obamacare as an example.
Right.
We have to pass it to find out what's in it.
that's exactly what it is.
Is that what this is?
Yes, sir.
Do you suspect that maybe even there's members of the MPC that don't know what's in that?
Yes, sir. I don't. There's no way they can know.
Then where did this come from? Who wrote that?
The Goody Clancy, the radical environmentalist group from Boston. That's who wrote the 2030 master plan.
Then how did it sort of worm its way down here and into the fabric of our community?
And that would be Sweeney. Sweeney believes what's in here, in my opinion. He's gone now, and
he convinced the MPC to vote for it, correct?
That's my opinion, yes.
Okay, now what do the residents want? Do they want the 2030 master plan thrown out? Do they want the UDC thrown out? Do they want the buffer zone gone? What do they want to happen?
Excuse me just a second. Let's take a break.
Okay.
Don't forget your question. More with State Rep Danny McCormick and this UDC mess when we get back.